in scale, beauty, and grace. This monument must be nothing less than a paradise here on earth. Symbolism carved in stone and marble. A heavenly memorial to the Queen of the world. Or as a poet described it, a teardrop on the cheek of time. In 1632, just 6 months after Mumtaz Mahal's death, work begins on the Taj Mahal. It will be the greatest building project of the age. Some say that over 20,000 workers slaved on the building. A court chronicler captures the scene.
And from all sides of the imperial territories were assembled troop after troop of skilled men, stonecutters, inlayers, and those who do carving in relief, each one an expert in his craft, who began work together with the other laborers.
Millions of bricks are baked on the spot for the shell of the building. The Taj rises at record speed. But progress comes at a price. Day by day, this gigantic construction is draining the imperial treasury. But nothing matters to the great Mughal. No expense is spared for this lavish project. Nothing must hold up the building work. Even if the people suffer terribly for the emperor's devotion.
Shah Jahan created an artificial famine when he diverted the supply of grain towards Agra, when it was meant for a different place. The regular supply of grain was diverted to feed a huge population of artisans, craftsmen, laborers, merchants, officials, servants. Such monuments cannot be built by a few individuals.
Today, no one remembers the ordeal of the people. Only the sublime result.
The color scheme of the Taj Mahal is deeply symbolic. The worldly elements and other buildings are all clad in red sandstone. White is reserved for the mausoleum. This is to be a building of enlightenment, an earthly representation of the heavenly house where Mumtaz Mahal will live for eternity. The pure white stands for the spirituality and faith of the person buried here.
The white marble for the Taj Mahal comes from quarries at Makrana in Rajasthan, still in use today. Makrana marble is already famous in Shah Jahan's time. Hard, yet easy to work. It's prized for its fine detail and high polish. The great Mughal has reserved Makrana marble for imperial buildings. The marble slabs are carried more than 400 kilometers to the site of the Taj Mahal. Construction consumes colossal amounts of this fabulous stone. With the skeleton of the building complete, the bricks disappear forever beneath the pure white facade. It's this smooth, glowing stone that gives the Taj Mahal its unique impact.
Of course, it's this white marble that gives it its beauty, its lightness, that sense of floating. These are means of expression available to an architect, just as words are used by a poet.
Right beside the marble edifice, the gardens begin.
The garden is the heart of the Taj Mahal. It's an earthly picture of the paradise of the Quran. 2 paths divide the terrain into 4 squares. The channels along the paths represent the rivers of paradise in the Quran. Where the channels meet, there's a pool. This is symbolic of the celestial pool where the faithful quench their thirst when they arrive in paradise.
True to Mughal tradition, the mausoleum and garden form an indivisible unity. And the interior of the mausoleum itself is modelled after the 8 paradises of the Quran. 8 chambers surround the central space beneath the dome. Mumtaz Mahal's coffin lies here. Before long, it attracted pilgrims from far and wide. Even today, the graves of deeply pious Muslims attract thousands of pilgrims. The flowers on the graves recall the Prophet Muhammad. As he ascended into heaven, each drop of perspiration turned into a rose. The faithful pray to the departed, asking for their divine intervention. Indian Muslims are drawn to the sumptuous memorials of the Mughal rulers in the same way. Orthodox Islam has no time for the worship of saints, but here in India, it's widely seen. The Mughals brought Islam to the subcontinent, but they didn't interpret the Quran rigidly. For a long time in India, Islam was linked to policies of tolerance and openness. Under Shah Jahan, that tolerance and openness reaches far beyond India's borders. The great Mughal decrees that visitors from the outside world will be made welcome in his empire. He knows there is much to gain from the exchange. So, travelers from east and west are regularly seen at Shah Jahan's court. Europeans can easily be spotted by their exotic headgear. Both sides benefit from this transcontinental contact. The Europeans are drawn by the precious fabrics, spices, and gemstones. European merchants pay with silver and bring new ideas to the Mughal Empire. The Taj Mahal itself demonstrates the links between India and Europe. Sumptuous stone flowers adorn the filigree marble latticework and cover the entire interior of the Taj Mahal. Techniques and motifs coming from distant Europe. These mosaics of semi-precious stones are called pietra dura.
In Petra Dura, for instance, one doesn't know whether Petra Dura came directly from Europe or came via some intermediary zone, but nevertheless, it was something which really tickled the imagination of Shah Jahan. And he used it in a very interesting way in which the building really looks like a treasure chest.
Pietra dura is Italian for hard stone. In the Renaissance, these precious inlays decorated palaces. This craft of stone cutting traveled from Italy to India, where it experienced a new heyday. In the Pietra dura workshops of India, the techniques haven't changed in hundreds of years. Many families have been doing this for 17 or 18 generations. These are the direct descendants of the craftsmen who worked on the Taj Mahal. Pietradura is a tough craft to master. The mosaics are made of tiny colored stones set into marble. A craftsman cuts hundreds of stones for a single mosaic, each shaped and positioned with perfect precision. He needs just as much skill to carve the flower shapes into the marble, creating the setting for the precious stones. After the final delicate corrections, a special glue sets the stones in their recesses. Painting in stone is one of the glories of Indian craftsmanship. But no chronicles record the names of the artists who decorated the Taj Mahal.
One thing we tend to forget is the hard labor, sweat, suffering of artisans and ordinary craftsmen. Nobody knows anything about them. So the monument is a testimony as much to their existence and the skill which they possessed as it is of Shah Jahan's aesthetic embellishment.
Through their work, the men who made the Taj Mahal live on. (1643). The Taj Mahal is finished. It has taken 12 years. In spite of difficulties and obstacles, Shah Jahan has accomplished his dream. The chosen one of the palace rests in a shrine worthy of her name. A building more sublime than any conceived or carved by human hand. On the anniversaries of her death, Shah Jahan visits Mumtaz Mahal's tomb. The king of the world travels the Yamuna River to the shrine of the Taj Mahal to remember his great love. The Taj Mahal conceals a final mystery. The coffin seen in the mausoleum is only a cenotaph, an empty monument. Mumtaz Mahal lies in a secret marble chamber below. There she rests, undisturbed. After finishing the Taj Mahal, Shah Jahan rules these lands for 20 more years. But his reign will see an inglorious end. His costly projects and extravagant lifestyle have brought the empire to the edge of ruin. In 1658, the king of the world is toppled from the throne, deposed by his and Mumtaz's own son to save the empire from his extravagance. Shah Jahan, absolute ruler, great Mughal for 30 years, is a prisoner. He's held captive in the Red Fort. He will never leave it again. In the evening, a servant reads him stories of the heroic deeds of his youth, epics of bravery and power, struggle and triumph. A long, long time ago. In Shah Jahan's decades of intelligent rule, the Mughal Empire reached its peak. No one succeeded in challenging his infinite power. But the mightiest